A North Georgia company that makes pet food proudly says it generates zero waste.
That's why Nestlé Purina is not happy that millions of gallons of its liquid waste wound up on a Wilkes County farm. And even worse, it caused the death of hundreds of fish.
Well, Fox 5 I-Team reporter Randy Travis returns with more of his investigation into the controversy over what's gently called soil amendments. Randy?
Yeah, Russ and Courtney, the state ag department considers a soil amendment as something that helps make the land more productive for farming. It's unclear exactly what was put on this farm. It is clear the damage that was caused. When state inspectors finished counting the 1,696 dead fish in this Wilkes County river, they didn't have far to find the culprit. A defunct dairy farm that accepted more than 1 million gallons of modified wastewater in just 6 weeks, dumped in a lagoon and then sprayed over fields to supposedly help the soil. Wastewater that came from a company that claims to generate zero waste for disposal, Nestlé Purina.
They have an obligation to make sure that it is disposed of correctly. And I think it's pretty clear that that's not what was happening in this case.
According to the Environmental Protection Division, sludge and gray-black wastewater ran into a nearby creek, creating those ominous bubbles. That wastewater was generated here at Purina's pet food plant in Hartwell. According to the permit, this liquid product is the result of cleaning and rinsing food-grade pet food tanks, bins, and processing equipment.
Apparently, it ain't good for fish. It kills 1,700 fish right down here in the river.
Neighbor Jeff Johnson had to put up with two constants similar to what residents across rural Georgia experience: a stream of tanker trucks and a horrible stench.
When you walked out the door, you could smell chemical odors. You could smell rotting odors. The weekend they quit dumping, the odors went away.
He and others say the state ignores their complaints about what's known as soil amendments, typically liquefied food waste from processing plants. The idea is to keep waste out of the landfill that might add nutrients back to the soil.
I think anybody who lives in rural Georgia or any rural area of any state needs to be aware because it could be coming. It absolutely could be coming to your backyard.
Neighbors have no say over where it's sprayed. They worry about what's in the liquid and whether it could harm more than just fish. Tanya Bonatatabas of the Savannah River Keepers has warned about the danger of soil amendments for years.
So that's, I think, a huge cause for concern. Where is all of this stuff coming from? Because nobody really knows the answer to that.
On its website, Purina proudly says it has achieved zero waste for disposal across all company manufacturing operations, saying, "We believe in a cleaner planet for future generations." But the fish kill has caught the company's attention as well. Our contracts with partners who collect and use this organic matter are very clear in the requirement that it be transported and applied at a controlled rate directly from enclosed systems to the field subsurface through plow injection. Plow injection is what we watched another company doing in Madison County. The state says this is an approved way of applying soil amendment. Purina used a third-party company, Cementitious Solutions from Madison County, to process their pet food tank waste into a material called proponic solutions. Johnson says he saw waste eliminator trucks like this one delivering the material. No one from any of those companies returned requests for comment.
Sometimes they would meet each other at the intersection up here. That's how many of them there were.
We do not allow these materials to be applied to or accumulate onto the surface, said Purina's spokesperson. She called what happened unacceptable, and the company is reviewing its contract.
I think they should probably bear a very strong responsibility and at the very least stop the contracts that they have with those who are not properly disposing of their waste.
She and others point out that, like that old dairy farm, often the landowners who take the soil amendments don't actually produce any crops. Hard to call this a cleaner planet.
If you are not producing a sellable product, you are not a farm, you are a dump.
Well, because of increased public interest, the Department of Agriculture is accepting comments about its proposed new soil amendment rules for an extra month. So that'll be next month now is the deadline.
Right. So presumably these landowners are being paid to accept these millions of gallons of soil amendment. Do we know how much?
Well, I asked Agriculture Commissioner Gary Black today. I had a chance to talk to him on the phone. By the way, he says that this fish kill is tragic and reprehensible, and he is going to make sure that they enforce the law. I asked him, I said, well, are these, how much are these farms getting? He goes, I can't tell you that. He goes, I will tell you that the farms are not the one paying to have it delivered. They're either getting paid to take it or they're getting it for free.
Well, you would imagine they're being paid if they're willing to take millions of gallons in a rather short period of time.
You would think so. And by the way, Commissioner Black said that they are going to go after, they can discipline the receiver of this soil amendment if it's misused, that would be the farmer, or the deliverer of the product, and that would be the trucks or perhaps the company that is delivering it. He's saying they're not looking into Purina's involvement at all in this.
All right. You've been all over it. Keep us posted.
Okay, we'll do.
Car